Most people earn more at 40 than ever. Most have less. Higher income, lower net worth. That's not an accident. Federal Reserve data, median 35-44 net worth is $135,000. Average says $549,000. Median says $135,000. Spot the gap. Most people live in the gap. This video closes it. You think income is the problem? It usually isn't. Consumer debt is the silent tax on every dollar you earn. Average new car payment, $717 per month, every month. That's $8,604 per year, gone before investing starts. Zero consumer debt by 30 isn't a goal, it's the floor. Credit score 800 saves you $48,000 on one mortgage. One late payment drops your score 180 points. 7 years. Compound interest doesn't care when you started, only how long. Waiting 1 year at 25 costs you $40,000 at 65, mathematically. Most people know this, almost none of them act on it. Savings rate under 15%? This next part is about you. Americans saved 4.6% in 2024. The wealthy save 20% plus. Lifestyle inflation is the wealth killer nobody names. Raise of $10,000, new car, new apartment, zero progress. Great offense, poor defense. The millionaire next door named it. High earner, broke at 40. It happens more than you think. Estate plan? 67% of Americans have no will at all. No will, no plan. Your state decides who gets everything. 529 plan. Tax-free growth for education. Most skip it entirely. Stealth wealth has no logo, no badge, just the number. 3 times salary by 40. That's Fidelity's benchmark. Average salary at 40, 60, $2,000. Target savings, $186,000. Median 401k at 35, 44, $39,958. That's the real starting line. Gap between target and reality, $146,000. Every year widens it. Not behind is not behind forever. Time is still the variable. Emergency fund, 45% of Americans cannot cover a $400 shock. 6 months expenses in cash. Not investment accounts, cash. High yield savings, 4.5% on idle cash. That's the floor today. Brett, budget, retirement, estate, tax. 4 pillars, 1 plan. Most people plan for 0 things, then wonder why nothing works. The Brett plan doesn't need a banker, just a Sunday afternoon. Every year without a plan is a year working for your past self. Health is a financial asset. Medical costs are the top cause of bankruptcy. Longer health, longer earning window, longer compounding runway. One parable, Marcus drove a Honda. His coworker leased a BMW. Same salary, same start date, radically different systems. 15 years later, one retired. One is still at the same desk. The difference wasn't income, it was the system behind it. A system beats willpower every single time. No exceptions. You just saw the surface. The real cost is buried deeper. You think the problem is not earning enough. That's the first mistake. The real metric is the gap. What you earn minus what you keep. A 1% annual fee on $200,000 costs $174,000 over 30 years. That money is already gone, spent by someone else. On your behalf, VU carries a 0.03% expense ratio. That's $3 per $10,000, period. VTI holds over 3,600 U.S. companies, total market in one fund. S&P 500 historical average return, 10.5% annually since 1957. Not investing in your 30s is historically the riskiest move. Inflation at 3% halves your buying power in 23 years. Guaranteed. Every dollar sitting idle in a checking account loses value daily. Automation is the structural move most people never make. Set it once. Let it work every month while you sleep. There's a second story running underneath this one. Follow it. Jordan and Dana. Same salary, same age. Starting today. Dana automates 20% savings on day one. Jordan waits to feel ready. Jordan feels ready at 35. Dana's portfolio is already compounding. 5 years of compound growth cannot be bought back, ever. Roth IRA, $7,000 limit in 2026. Tax-free forever on the growth. Max it every year for 10 years. That's $70,000 compounding tax-free. 401k match is the closest thing to free money that exists. Not getting the full match? You're leaving salary on the table annually. SCHD, dividend-focused ETF. Yield near 3.5%, growing every year. Dividends reinvested accelerate compound growth. Morningstar confirms it. You think diversification means owning more things? It doesn't. It means owning less of the wrong things. That's the reversal. Dollar cost averaging removes timing risk entirely from the equation. Every month, on the 1st. Same amount. No exceptions. 10 years. The market goes down. You buy more shares cheaper. That's the system. Most people panic and sell. That's the $174,000 mistake in reverse. If your savings rate is under 20%, this next part rewrites your math. Increasing savings rate from 10% to 20% cuts your retirement timeline nearly in half. The gap between what you earn and what you invest is your actual problem. Jordan watched 5 years pass feeling ready. Dana has a different problem now. Dana's problem now, tax optimization. Jordan's problem, catching up. The system doesn't punish late starters, but it doesn't wait for them either. Now the best data point, the one that actually breaks the model, $186,000 at age 40, investing $500 monthly, reaches $2.1 million by retirement. That projection uses 7% average return. VU has averaged 10% plus with dividends. At 10%, that same $186,000 plus $500 month reaches $3.6 million. Real math. This is the snowball. Starts slow, invisible for years, then unstoppable. Most people see the small ball and quit. They never see the hill. The invisible years of compound growth are doing the most work. Missing 10 years at 30 versus 40 costs over $900,000 by retirement at 10% return. That's not a metaphor. It's a future account balance that will never exist. If this is rewriting your timeline, subscribe. This channel exists for exactly this. Now, the snowball metaphor meets real allocation strategy. Watch this. Bucket 1, emergency fund, liquid, no volatility, 3 to 6 months expenses. Bucket 2, retirement, Roth IRA, 401k, long-term, tax-advantaged, untouched.
Bucket 3, taxable brokerage, ETFs like VOO, VTI, SCHD, flexible wealth building. Most wealth builders in their 30s operate all 3 buckets simultaneously. If you're only using 1 or 2, you're leaving structural gains on the table. Tax efficiency is the silent multiplier. Almost no one maximizes under 40. Long-term capital gains at 0% if income is under $47,025 as a single filer in 2026. That means some of your investment gains are legally taxed at 0. Use it. Most people pay 15 to 20% on gains they didn't need to, every single year. Here's a stat that will physically bother you. Only 52% of adults invest at all. Nearly half the country is watching inflation erode their savings, silently. This is the actual cost of financial inaction, not theoretical, mathematically real. The snowball metaphor applies here too. Inaction compounds the loss the same way. Action versus inaction. Both compound. Choose your direction intentionally. This is where most financial content stops. We're just getting started. Net worth target by 35-1 times salary, by 40-3 times, by 50-6 times, at $62,000 per year average salary, $62 K, $186 K, $372 K. These are your checkpoints. Behind these numbers, Close the gap from the income side and the savings side simultaneously. The number I'm about to show you connects all of this, and most people never see it. The snowball becomes self-sustaining when your portfolio returns exceed your annual contributions. At $200,000 invested in VOO, the 10% historical return generates $20,000 annually without touching it. That's the inflection point. Your money works harder than your extra contributions do. Most people never reach this threshold because they stop contributing during market dips. Every missed contribution in your 30s delays this threshold by months, sometimes years. This is why automation isn't optional. It's the mechanism that protects the threshold. Dana automated at day 1. Jordan paused 6 times in 4 years. That's the data gap. Credit score optimization. Every 20-point increase can shift your mortgage rate 0.125%. On a $400,000 30-year mortgage, a 0.5% rate difference costs $48,000 total. Real loss. Build your credit score like you build a portfolio. Consistently, intentionally, long-term. Now for the Stealth Wealth System. The tactical layer on top of all this data. Stealth Wealth Principle 1. Live below your income permanently, not temporarily. Principle 2. Every raise is split. Half to lifestyle, half to investment accounts automatically. Principle 3. No lifestyle signal. You don't announce the number, you build it. The Millionaire Next Door documented this extensively. Most millionaires are invisible. Average millionaire drives a used car, owns a modest home, and carries 0 revolving debt. Meanwhile, the perceived rich are servicing $717 car payments and $3,200 rents. Servicing, fixed monthly costs are the invisible anchor. High anchors drag wealth down permanently. Keeping fixed monthly costs under 50% of take-home pay is the Stealth Wealth baseline rule. Below 50% fixed costs, you have wealth-building mobility. Above, you're anchored. Estate planning. 67% of Americans have no will. If you have dependents, this costs everything. Living will, healthcare power of attorney, beneficiary designations, 3 documents, 1 Sunday. A 529 plan with $200 monthly starting at age 3 can cover most state university costs by 18. Tax-free growth on education savings. State tax deductions on contributions. A double advantage. Health investments in your 30s reduce healthcare costs in your 60s by measurable amounts. Every decade of compounding requires you still being financially active. Health is the prerequisite. Social Security at 62 gives you 70% of your benefit. Waiting to 70 gives you 124%. That's a 54% permanent benefit increase for waiting 8 years. Health extends this window. The right question isn't, can I retire? It's, can my portfolio sustain my lifestyle permanently? The 4% withdrawal rule, a $1 million portfolio sustains $40,000 annually. Historically verified, reverse engineer it. If your lifestyle costs $60K/year, you need $150 million invested. Start there. This is the real target, not retirement. A specific number that makes work optional. Dana calculated her number at age 32. Jordan still hasn't calculated his. That gap is visible now. The Brett framework revisited. Every pillar must be active simultaneously to reach the target. Budget pillar activated, spend rate tracked weekly, not monthly. Weekly gives you course correction time. Retirement pillar activated, maximize 401k M match first, then Roth IRA, then brokerage. Estate pillar activated, 3 documents. Get them notarized this month, not next year. Tax pillar activated. Review capital gains exposure annually. Rebalance for tax efficiency, not performance chasing. Performance chasing is the behavior that separates average returns from below average returns. You think the stock market is risky. Historically, not investing is the riskier choice by the numbers. S&P 500 has been positive in 73% of all one-year periods since 1928. That is the base rate. The longer you hold, the more the